This is Code.org. I'm currently working on their CS Discoveries course. I'm on Unit 3, Animation and Games, Lesson 15, Velocity, Part 11. Let's see what we're doing here. Ooh, create a frog and a mushroom. I want to test this. Frog, mushroom, not doing anything yet, but we can fix that. Okay, so let's see if there's... Nope, just those. All right, sorry, I like to check things out. All right, jumping. Oh, that would make sense. You now have all the blocks you need to make your sprite jump. The sprite should jump up if it's on the ground and the user presses the up key. Then, maybe the sprite should start moving back down when it reaches the top of its jump. Okay, that would make sense. It's going to jump up. When at the top, it should move back down. Do this. Find the if statement that checks whether the sprite is on the ground and look at the if statement inside of it that nested ifs. One if inside of an if. We'll be fine though. Inside of it that checks whether the user has pressed the up arrow key. So first we're going to say, hey, is the frog on the ground? Next we're going to say, okay, if it is someone pressing the arrow key? Because we want Mr. Froggo to jump. Or Mrs. Froggo. All right. Make the frog jump up when the user presses the arrow key. Make the frog stop moving otherwise. Add the code that does the following. Checks whether the frog sprite has reached its highest point. If so, make the sprite go back down. Okay, so if the user presses the arrow key, make the frog stop moving otherwise. Okay, so if went up, went down. All right, let's go through this. First, we create two variables. We have a mushroom sprite, and then we assign it to the animation. Frog sprite assigned to the animation. Comments like these gray things, those are for humans, not for the computer. Computer skips them. They kind of clue us into what's going on. You could let other programmers know what your code does or remind yourself of what you're working on. A draw function. This function is going to draw things like 30 times a second, right? So it's going to draw a blue sky first, then on top of that, it draws burly wood, no stroke, so no outline. It's drawing a rectangle for the ground. If frog.y is greater than 324, why would it want that? I'm going to show the grid. What's our ground at? Y360. What's the center of our frog? Oh, okay. So if the frog's y location is greater than 324, remember y is 400 down here. So if the frog's y location is greater than 324, well, our frog spawns at 325. So what the computer is checking in this if statement is if the frog is on the ground. If it's greater than 324, it's on the ground. So first we say, okay, is the frog on the ground? If the computer says, yep, the frog's y location is greater than 324 on the ground, it then drops in and runs this code. If it's no, it drops below this and runs other code. Okay, so that's the first thing we check. Then the comment says, if the user presses the up. Okay, if the up arrow key went down, we want to make the frog move. So let's go to sprites, and we're going to use the y variable to go up or down. And remember, this is 0, 0 up here. This is 0 for y. This is 400. So to make the frog go up, we want to decrease the y. So I'm going to go up by -2, right? -2. We don't have anything called sprite. We have something called frog. So I'm changing that over to frog. Else, make the frog stop moving? So to stop moving, I would assume... Wait. Oh, we want to change the velocity, right? We want it to start moving, not just change the y. So that was, yeah, there we go. So to stop moving, we would want the velocity, right, to be, for the frog, to be 0, I believe. Okay, so far, so good. You don't need to do this. I'm doing this just so I can see more of the code on the screen. Else, get rid of these extra spaces. So, there we are. Okay, now, if the frog gets high enough, this is all for the mushroom. Send it back down? Okay, so we wouldn't want another if then. So, if the frog gets high enough. Does it tell us how high it should get? I'm going to just say the top of the screen. So if the frog hits 400, how could I do that? I can look at this code, right? Frog.y. So I'm going to say math. I'm going to grab a greater than. Drop it right in there. I need to go to my sprites, grab my froggo, which would grab y, type frog in here. And if y is greater than, what is it? Oh, I meant y 0 up here. So if y is, I need to get rid of that. I need less than then. So less than, right? Because if it is less than 0, it's gone beyond the top. So if the frog's y is less than 0, we want the frog to start moving back down. So we're going to take the y velocity, change this to frog, and say 2. Because if we say positive, positive goes down on the y. Send it back down. Do we not? Stop moving, send it back down. Isn't it going to go off the screen? Okay, I think it's still going to go off the screen, but make the frog jump. Let's test it. Get rid of my grid. Run. I'm going to hit up. Go, frog, go. And when it hits the top, it should start heading back down. Now, my concern is it's going to move down, but we have nothing about it stopping. Oh. Oh, it does. Okay, awesome. And the reason it stopped moving is because if it's greater than 324, so the second the frog gets greater, y is greater than 324, which is the center of the frog, if I press the arrow key, oh, jump. But if not, else, so the computer would say, yep, he's dropped all the way back down, greater than 324. Is the arrow key pressed? Nope. So else, stop moving. And that's why it freezes on the ground. Awesome. That's pretty neat. All right, let's keep going. Actually, let me make sure this is the code I got. It's what worked for me. Great.